You'll hear an interview with Vanessa Simons, who organises walking holidays for young people on how best to pack a backpack. For questions 9 to 18, complete the sentences. You now have 45 seconds to look at part 2.
Pause the recording for 45 seconds. You'll need to play the recording twice.
Nowadays, most people who go camping carry their things in a backpack. Vanessa, why is it so important to pack one of these properly?
Well, if you put everything in the right places, it ensures that the weight is correctly distributed, so that when you're walking, the whole thing feels like part of your body. This can help you keep your balance better, and that's important if you're finding your way along a mountain track, for instance.
So I imagine the first thing to do is to think about what you're going to take with you.
Yes, that's very important. I'd suggest sitting down somewhere quiet and drawing up a list of everything you're likely to need, making sure you include essential items like water and a first aid kit. There will be obvious things like your tent, but perhaps also things you might forget, like a small torch or a map.
And you'll have to make your mind up which clothes you'll want with you.
Definitely. But it's best to do that once you've had a look at the weather forecast for the part of the country you're intending to go to. It's no good taking only summer clothes if you're heading for a mountain area where it could rain or suddenly get cold.
So it's best to take things to keep you warm and dry, even in summer?
Yes, you should always take a warm sweater with you. And a waterproof jacket and trousers won't take up much room or weigh much. At other times of the year, of course, you'll need things like gloves and much thicker clothes.
And how much clothing should you take with you, for 7 days, say?
Well, I'd say 1 complete change of clothes, 2 spare sets of underwear, and, of course, enough socks. I'd say several pairs, so that you always have at least 2 clean, dry pairs of socks.
And what about food? What should you take, and what's the best way to carry it?
You need to plan all your meals, working out how much of everything you'll probably eat. Some people like to store food in boxes, but to save space in my backpack, I prefer to use strong plastic bags. I avoid bottles or jars because of the weight and the risk of them breaking if I fall.
So, once you know what you're taking, can you start putting everything into your backpack?
No, not just yet. First, I like to see all the things together so I can decide what goes where. And to do that, I lay them out all over the floor. It always looks a lot more like that than when things are neatly on top of each other in drawers or cupboards. Then, when I'm sure I need everything there, I start packing.
What usually goes in first?
Well, I once tried putting my changes of clothes in first, right at the bottom, but I needed them on the first day and I had to take everything else out first. So, as a rule, it's my sleeping bag, as I won't need it until the tent is up on the first night.
And is there any particular order for the other things?
A few things that I might need in a hurry, such as maps and sunglasses, go straight into the outside pockets. But in general, I pack the heavier items towards the bottom of the backpack, with things that weigh less, like my hat, higher up. That helps my balance, especially on rough ground. When everything's in, I try it out to see how it feels.
How do you do that?
I put it on for a while and move around. Walking round the house and the garden isn't really enough to get a proper idea of what it'll be like, so I go to the local park instead. People must think I'm mad, going round there with a great big pack on my back. But I'd rather do that than find out on a steep mountainside that it's uncomfortable, or simply too heavy.
That's the end of part 2. Now turn to part 3.